Force is with me. I am one with the Force. What's going on, guys? It's Chris here. Thank you for watching this video today. This is going to be the start of a new series I'm going to be doing, man. Where each and every week I'm going to just kind of talk to you guys and answer some questions, some Star Wars topics and Star Wars questions. Kind of like, as I get bigger, this might be, a Q&A series, kind of like you see some of the other YouTubers doing. But today I'm just going to just sit back and kind of talk some Star Wars, answer some questions. I got my Star Wars Battlefront 2 gameplay going. I play the game enough, might as well use it to my advantage. Have some footage here. Which also, if you guys are playing right now, is the game bugging again on you guys? Like, I had a session this week, man. It seemed like so many bugs were back. Kylo's frenzy wasn't working, but anyway, let's get back on topic. First off, I want to say, if you guys are watching this video as a Star Wars fan that comes here just to hear some Star Wars content, man, that really means a lot to me. As I started this channel, this is always something I wanted to do, and just knowing that people want to know what I have to say and are interested, and I've already made, I guess, some kind of impact on someone as a Star Wars fan. Honestly, that means a lot to me. So thank you so much for that, and I hope to continue to have your support in the future. With that, guys, I am a new YouTuber and I'm still very small. You guys don't get to see the amount of subscribers that I have, but I am up to 67 subscribers, which I'm happy about. Thank you guys for that, each and every one of you. But I will, as we try to get to our first 100 and on from there, share with your friends, other Star Wars fans. If you're a YouTuber yourself, please let me know if you know ways to kind of grow my channel, things that that work. Please help me out and send me a message. I'm trying to grow this thing as quick as I can and bring quality content, the best content that I can. So with all that out the way, let's kind of just start talking about some things, man. As we get ready for Rise of Skywalker, I've been thinking and getting so excited for this movie coming, and with that, it just kind of opened my mind again to some of the things that I've heard about this Disney era of Star Wars, and how, some of it I'm just confused by. Being a part of multiple fan bases, you see that there's always going to be a group of people that feel a certain way about everything. But I can't lie and say that some of the backlash towards the Disney Star Wars era, like, it's hard to just make it all add up, especially when you compare it to some of the mishaps of other series. When I hear people complain about the Last Jedi, what the sequels have done to characters and things, like, people want to make it out to seem as if after Return of the Jedi, say Return of the Jedi was episode 52, and then they make it seem like Force Awakens was episode 55, and then only 3 episodes later, Luke had turned into this, and then Han and this. No, like, in real time, there was probably like 100 episodes that had passed between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. I mean, so much happens, and a lot of it is there that people just aren't even looking into. Like, now, yes, it's not in the movies, but so much time has passed, and the history of what's happened within those years, you can find if you want to find it. But even if you don't want to look into it, just knowing that 30 years has passed is enough for you would think people understand that people change, characters have changed, they're in a different point. Like, all of it. Like, I don't care what franchise you're watching. At that point, so much has happened, to characters and people. So Luke, who so clearly is, I mean, how many times have we seen this in movies? The old, the wise samurai, or or just the guy, the master. Like, he's older now, and then the young guy's coming up, and he don't want to train him. Like, he's like, what, I'm too old for this now. But eventually he comes around and he trains him. Like, this has been like done so many times. It's hard to see how people could get so frustrated, like, how dare, where is this coming from? When again, this is a whole nother, this is 30 years removed. They are putting this out there. This is a whole other generation. So I can understand some frustration in terms of, like, having to rehash certain elements, to bring it to a new generation. Yes, but to be so strong with it and act as if this is like, how dare they, or like, what is it even doing? This is not, like, this is uncanon. That's the other thing. People are acting like it's so un-Star Wars that it's non-canon. Like, what are you talking about? I seriously, I don't see it that way at all. I know I seem like I'm kind of ranting now. I don't really want to do that, but I wanted to kind of just talk about some of the characters and the things within the sequel saga that I didn't agree with it. I already talked about Luke. I think that the lightsaber, throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder was really strong, and I would not have done that. I would have had him just hand it to her and look like, you know what, here you go, kid, I can't do it. Like, that was too much in that scene, in my opinion. But again, outside of that, he rejects, but as the movie goes on, he opens up and he eventually trains Rey. Like, he does not just say no to Rey the whole movie. Like, people act like the rest of the movie didn't happen after that, He does come around, he does train her, and again, his role in the movie is not to be the Luke Skywalker from the original trilogy. Like, he is in a different role, in a different phase of his life. Like, I'm sorry, and I guess if you were a longtime Luke fan, I guess that it's unfortunate that you didn't get to see the Master Jedi Luke on the big screen. But again, like, that's not what this generation was. This was way in the future. Yes, they could have made Luke that way, but they didn't. And I think it's a fine decision. It fits his story and his character. To me, it does fine. But let's move on to Rey, which is a lot more difficult because, guys, Rey's actually one of my favorite characters. Like, she is comfortably in my top 3 Star Wars characters. Now that's gonna make some of you just screech. I understand. Where could I be seeing that? And to me, I've just always loved her spirit and her toughness and just the character, like character design. And I can admit that after the Last Jedi, or the Last Jedi did less for her character. Everything she got in The Last Jedi was almost something she and Kylo got together, as far as the character. But after The Force Awakens, I was very interested in her. I know that I think as a lot of the fan base, we all put too much into just who her parents were. Rey as a character, she felt abandoned. She wanted to see, her family come back. That's why we wanted to see them, because she did. And she goes to mirror in The Last Jedi, and she sees, no, like, you don't need to be worrying about them. Like, this is you, like, your story. Like, and I've gone back and forth on this, and it's not till really recently that I've really just confirmed in my mind, like, for sure, that Rey is just a scavenger from Jakku whose parents, sold her for drinking money. We're filthy drunk traders. Now, it doesn't mean that there can't be something more to that, but I really do think that those are facts. Like, that she is just a scavenger from Jakku whose parents sold her off. But she's been a Force-sensitive child, her entire life. And these are things that I'm bringing up now, is that some people don't know that, Rey is a warrior, and we can know from other Force users that she's had the Force her whole life. She's been gifted her entire life, and then I think some people tend to forget, or maybe not as exposed to all the Star Wars canon, but like, you don't have to use the Force to whoop somebody's ass. So, like, all these bounty hunters and Mandalorians, like, and I'm bringing that up to Rey, because Rey was a warrior. Like, she trained herself. That staff was her weapon. She used that to survive on the rough sands of Jakku. Like, her whole life. Like, she was a fighter. So like let's just say, like, for example, Luke, on Tatooine. I know a little less about how Luke was at combat before he, started training in the Force and all that, but from what I do know, I would imagine that Rey was a little more advanced as a fighter than Luke. Now, that might sound crazy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be way wrong on that. But all I'm saying is that Rey, she was a fighter. She had combat skills coming into this, and was Force sensitive. Again, there's something inside her has always been there. She's known something special about her. Like, maybe she always did tie that to her family, her parents. I don't know. But some of the issues people have had with her, with the whole overwhelming Kylo, I think you guys have all heard, the I don't want to say excuses, but the reasonings for that. Kylo getting hit by the bowcaster, clearly conflicted by what he just done with his father. I think the Snoke comic goes into that more, where you see that, like, Kylo is just so conflicted. Like, he really he did that, but it killed him to do that to Han. So anyway, I can understand not really feeling Rey's character, understanding why she's chosen, why she's so powerful, but understand this not everybody has to be a Skywalker or have this great lineage. I know the excuse to that is this is the Skywalker saga. Well, guess what, guys? Right under your nose is Ben Solo, who I think silently is like one of the most well-written characters in Star Wars. I mean, he's clearly like he's a great character. You know, we have his story going on. He is the son of Leia, and we also have Leia who's still around. Like, there's your Skywalker lineage and tie-in to all the other trilogies. You know, so it's there. You know, we have a Skywalker son and mother. We have a mother and a son, Skywalker. You know, in this series, active right now. They're going to be in the Rise of Skywalker, and I'm sure be heavily influential in whatever happens in the story. So anyway, guys, I guess I've just been a bit more confused with some of the criticism of Disney Star Wars. It's the harsh criticism, you know, like there's been a lot of good stuff. You don't have to, it could have been some of it that you hated, but there's been a lot of good stuff, and look at what they've added to Star Wars. I mean, Rogue One definitely enhances A New Hope, you know. Solo, again, it wasn't great, but it sets up a lot for, I mean, hold on. Solo was fine. It was good. I liked it. But it set up a lot for, you know, what they're going to do with that in the future in a possible series or a movie coming forward. Where I said it wasn't great, I was just saying it didn't add too much for Star Wars, but it did add some things and some good stuff with Chewie and Han. So I just, you know, there's a lot of great things here. It's a great time, you know, for the series. There's a lot of great stuff moving forward. You know, The Mandalorian has all the potential in the world. I mean, like, I don't know, who knows what we're gonna get, but like The Mandalorian could be as big as anything, you know. I know it's popular to say people are more excited for it than The Rise of Skywalker. It's weird for me to do that because it's a series versus like a movie, like this event, and the series is going to go on week by week, and I will be reviewing that over here on this channel for those if you guys are wondering. But it's just a great time, and there's a lot to speculate on The Rise of Skywalker, you know. One of the things that there was, you know, oh, there's nothing that's going to happen, there's nothing to speculate on after The Last Jedi, but there's really so much there. You know, we have a completely conflicted Ben Solo. We don't know what's his time been like as the Supreme Leader. Rey's still discovering her powers, and, you know, just some more backdrop on Rey, guys. She's still, as powerful as she seems, she still is not in full control of what she can do, or, you know, like, she's still as unfamiliar with the Force. Like, she can tap in and use it to great levels, and even like she said when she pulled the rocks, she's not sure if she could do that again. She says, you know, she's still learning, and she'll be much more advanced in this movie than we see her in The Last Jedi. But Kylo as well, and who knows, like, where the story's gonna go. Palpatine's here, like, what is going on with that? There's so much. Bringing Palpatine in the mix just makes things like, what is gonna happen here, you know? And I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it all, man. Again, guys, I wanted to kind of talk about some more things in this video. You know, I kind of just ended up ranting about the state of the franchise. I guess I'll get to some of those on maybe next week's, but yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. You know, different topics I can cover, what you kind of think about some of the things I've said. I'm sure some of it was, you know, you disagreed with, and definitely want to bring this up in most of these videos, especially like this, is that Star Wars is a much deeper series than some of these other things, and where there's so many different ways that people have consumed it, and pieces of the canon. We're all going to have our own different interpretations of things. Like, I'm not trying to tell anybody that, you know, they're looking at something just all wrong. You know, there's people that, you know, I know less Star Wars than, but I might know something that they didn't know, you know, and vice versa. So that's just kind of how Star Wars works, you know, and people just have different perspectives, and that's honestly the beauty of Star Wars. It's that beautiful, you know. And some other franchise, when there's confusion, it's because the show and the franchise just did a horrible job and no one knows what the hell's going on, so they just make up some bullshit. Like, Star Wars actually has different ways you can interpret it, and like the characters are so well fleshed out that you can actually do that. But anyway, let me know how you guys enjoyed this video. This is, like I said, the first of its kind. Make sure you guys do like it and subscribe to this channel if you're new. Again, if you guys are Star Wars fans or YouTubers, if you have ways that I can try to get this channel growing faster, you know, so we can get to our first 100 subs, really appreciate it. I'll have some videos coming for you guys this week, and thanks for watching. All right.